Hi, this is Kim Reads Urantia. You know what? I'm going to get that light over there quick. That's not a good light. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, back. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to read to you from the Urantia book tonight. And I'm going to first start by reading a little bit of Light the Flame by Andrew Harvey. Today is March 22nd. This is a Hindu prayer. May the axe be far away from you. May the fire be far away from you. May there be rain without storm. Lord of trees, may you be blessed. Lord of trees, may you be blessed. Okay, this is very simple. Just have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Let me enjoy the good things in life and spare me the trials. Spare me the trials. Spare me the difficulties. So, and that's true, but you know what? That's very opposite from some of this stuff here that we've read in this book here. What was it? Let me be your slave. Let me destroy and resurrect me. Yeah, let me, yeah. Right. So I think that most of our difficulties we bring on ourselves by far and large. So, and sometimes it's what we desire. Sometimes we really desire, if we've had it too good, we desire a challenge, we desire difficulties. Sometimes if we have had a lot of difficulties, we desire some peace. So that's all legit, you know. And yeah, that's very nice, very lovely. Yep. The Lord of trees. God is the Lord of trees, Lord of everything that grows. Think about trees as source of life. Very patient and giving as a tree. Yep. Okay, part 1, paper number 5, section 5, the consciousness of God. All right, morality has its origin in the reason of self-consciousness. It is super animal, but wholly evolutionary. Human evolution embraces in its unfolding all endowments antecedent to the bestowal of the adjusters and to the pouring out of the spirit of truth. But the attainment of levels of morality does not deliver man from the real struggles of mortal living. Man's physical environment entails the battle for existence. The social surroundings necessitate ethical adjustments. The moral situations require the making of choices in the highest realms of reason. The spiritual experience, having realized God, demands that man find him and sincerely strive to be like him. And I've struggled with that recently, with wanting to be like God. I don't want to be like God. I just want to be me. I think, being like God would be so hard. But if that's what God wants, and God wants, I have to realize God, and I know it just means that I have to be my best self. But then when I think of how it could come out like you'd have all this responsibility for everything. And I'm afraid of responsibility. I'm a one of these drifter types. I avoid accountability. Yep. So that's kind of scary to me, but okay. So we have to go all the way with it. Religion is not grounded in the facts of science, the obligations of society, the assumptions of philosophy, or the implied duties of morality. Religion is an independent realm of human response to life situations and is unfailingly exhibited at all stages of human development, which are post-moral. Post-moral. I suppose after we've developed a moral system or understand morality. Religion may permeate all four levels of the realization of values and the enjoyment of universe fellowship. Okay. What are the four levels of realization of values? The physical or material level of self-preservation. Here they are. The physical or material level of self-preservation, the social or emotional level of fellowship, the moral or duty level of reason, and the spiritual level of the consciousness of universe fellowship through divine worship. Okay, the fact-seeking scientist conceives of God as the first cause, a God of force. The emotional artist sees God as the ideal of beauty, a God of aesthetics. The reasoning philosopher is sometimes inclined to posit a God of universal unity, even a pantheistic deity. Been there. The religionist of faith believes in a God who fosters survival, the Father in heaven, the God of love. Moral conduct is always an antecedent of evolved religion and a part of even revealed religion, but never the whole of religious experience. Social service is the result of moral thinking and religious living. Morality does not biologically lead to the higher spiritual levels of religious experience. Okay, so but morality isn't bad. I mean, that's just what's right and wrong, but that doesn't doing what's right and wrong doesn't automatically mean that you are religious. Okay, but I think it's lower than religious experience. The adoration of the abstract beautiful is not the worship of God, neither is exaltation of nature, nor the reverence of unity the worship of God. Okay, so then what is the worship of God, right? Okay. Evolutionary religion is the mother of the science. Yeah, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Evolutionary religion is the mother of the science, art, and philosophy, which elevated man to the level of receptivity to revealed religion, including the bestowal of adjusters and the coming of the Spirit of truth. The evolutionary picture of human existence begins and ends with religion, albeit very different qualities of religion. One evolutional and biological, the other revelational and periodical. Okay, the evolutionary picture of human existence begins and ends with religion. Okay, so you don't think of religion as being biological, but it's responding to our own biological needs for security, to know, to feel safe, and to feel like there's something predictable in our lives. Even though that's not really true, it gives us that feeling of something being predictable. It's interesting to think of religion as biological. Right. The evolutionary, yeah, they're very different qualities of religion. Okay. And so while religion is normal and natural to man, it is also optional. Man does not have to be religious against his will. Religious experience, being essentially spiritual, can never be fully understood by the material mind. Hence, the function of theology, which is the psychology of religion. The essential doctrine of the human realization of God creates a paradox in finite comprehension. It is well nigh impossible for human logic and finite reason to harmonize the concept of divine experience. No, it is well nigh impossible for human logic and finite reason to harmonize the concept of divine immanence, God within and a part of every individual, with the idea of God's transcendence, the divine domination of the universe of universes. That's true. That's a tricky concept. It's so like uniting that God is on the outside of everything, but God is also on the inside of everything and the inside of me. These two essential concepts of deity must be unified in the faith grasp of the concept of the transcendence of a personal God and in the realization of the indwelling presence of a fragment of that God in order to justify intelligent worship and validate the hope of personality survival. The difficulties and paradoxes of religion are inherent in the fact that the realities of religion are utterly beyond the mortal capacity for intellectual comprehension. Yep, so religion has a huge impact on us. One that we can't really discern. We can't really that's not, and some people think it's bad, and there's some people that use it in a really bad way, and it can be used like that, and that's hard. But okay, I'm going to keep going. Mortal man secures three great satisfactions from religious experience, even in the days of his temporal sojourn on earth. Intellectually, he acquires the satisfactions of a more unified human consciousness. Philosophically, he enjoys the substantiation of his ideals of moral values. Spiritually, he thrives in the experience of divine companionship, the spiritual satisfactions of true worship. God consciousness, as it is experienced by an evolving mortal of the realms, must consist of three varying factors, three differential levels of reality realization. There is first the mind consciousness, the comprehension of the idea of God. Then follows the soul consciousness, the realization of the ideal of God. Last dawns the spirit consciousness, the realization of the spirit reality of God. Okay, so I'm thinking, where am I in this? Comprehension of the idea of God, that there could be a God. And the ideal of God is, okay, what would God be if God were perfect? God were God, what could something God-like be? And then the spirit reality of God. That God is more than anything that we can conceive of. Okay. Okay, so the idea of God, that then it's just a yes or a no. The ideal of God is kind of like dueling between these ideas that God is, to me, for a long time, God couldn't be powerful if he was good. Because why would a good God, a God that's really good, that I could really love and worship, why would he let all these awful things or do all these terrible things to people? So I was there for a long time. And I couldn't marry those two ideas. But that God is more than what I can fathom that way. And God is both loving and kind and infinitely powerful, right? Okay, then that's levels, okay. Okay, so and it has to do with the unification of these ideas, but here and it's a faith. It's faith too, because I don't know everything about how it works. It's just that faith in that it works is uplifting and empowering and satisfying and comforting all at the same time. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but then there's life. Humans don't make a lot of sense. Human behavior doesn't always make sense. Quantum physics, all this stuff, yeah, it is, but it isn't. All this stuff doesn't make sense. So why God and union of opposites is in Tao. That's the part of Tao. So if God is Tao, God both is and isn't at the same time. Like Schrodinger's cat, right? Okay, I'm going to keep going. By the unification of these factors of the divine realization, no matter how incomplete, the mortal personality at all times overspreads all conscious levels with the realization of the personality of God. And those mortals who have attained the core of the finality, all this will in time lead to the realization of the supremacy of God and may subsequently eventuate in the realization of the ultimacy of God. Some phase of the Absonite superconsciousness of the Paradise Father. So as we grow through through realizing God and understanding and being conscious of God, our concept of God grows closer to what God actually is. Even though, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I will ever be, even if I'm like grown through all the levels and I'm in God's presence, I don't know if my mind will ever be able to contain an accurate concept of God. And that's okay with me, because it's that huge. But I think growing to understand more of God is possible. Okay. The experience of God consciousness remains the same from generation to generation, but with each advancing epoch in human knowledge, the philosophic concept and the theologic definitions of God must change. God knowingness, religious consciousness, is a universe reality, but no matter how valid, real religious experience is, it must be willing to subject itself to intelligent criticism and reasonable philosophic interpretation. It must not seek to be a thing apart in the totality of human experience. Okay, so even though I grow closer and closer to God, and I might be able to see that my concept of God is superior to others, which is, possible, or it's somebody else's could be superior to mine. I don't know, but I can't just withdraw and say that no, this is not open for discussion. I've got the best concept of God. Forget about y'all. No, it's always interactive. You have to talk about it. You have to think about it, and you have to do that in community, which is, I think, why reading this book is best done in community. Right. So I don't get too attached to my ideas. So I could have an idea that I keep to myself and it's just my idea, and I'm not going to, if I tell you it's not even up for discussion, or I don't tell anybody because I'm too attached to this idea. That's bad to be attached to that. That's why we talk about these things and we open ourselves up to criticism and discourse about our ideas, so that together we can come to the best ideas and think of things that other people haven't thought of. Or yeah. Eternal survival of personality is wholly dependent on the choosing of the mortal mind, whose decisions determine the survival potential of the immortal soul. When the mind believes God and the soul knows God, and when, with the fostering adjuster, they all desire God, then is survival assured. Limitations of intellect, curtailment of education, deprivation of culture, impoverishment of social status, even inferiority of the human standards of morality resulting from the unfortunate lack of educational, cultural, and social advantages cannot invalidate the presence of the divine spirit in such unfortunate and humanly handicapped but believing individuals. That's good. So just because you've got all of the people that are got these are attached to religious people I don't agree with, like televangelists and whatnot, the people that believe in them, even if their leaders are corrupt, God still believes in those people, and they're good people, even though they've got wackadoo ideas put in their heads by nutty people. The indwelling of the mystery monitor continues the inception and ensures the possibility of the potential of growth and survival of the immortal soul. The ability of mortal parents to procreate is not predicated on their educational, cultural, social, or economic status. The union of the parental factors under natural conditions is quite sufficient to initiate offspring. Okay. The ability of mortal parents to procreate is not predicated on their right. The union of the parental factors under natural conditions is quite sufficient to initiate offspring. So you don't have to be a real moral person to have kids. A human mind discerning right and wrong and possessing the capacity to worship God in union with the divine adjuster is all that is required in that mortal to initiate and foster the production of his immortal soul of survival qualities. If such a spirit-endowed individual seeks God and sincerely desires to become like him, honestly elects to do the will of the Father in heaven. Okay, so if you have like inferior educational, cultural, social, or economic status, it's got nothing to do with you being able to advance here and join with your thought adjuster. Okay, so that's it for today, and I thank you very much. Yeah, I knew that. We don't discriminate on that basis. All right. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye.